What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of This Brother Talk. Tony Crawford. Anybody who check it out, I just want to say thank you for checking it out. Thank you for getting on. Thank you for interacting. And this week we got a couple things to talk about. We got football to talk about, basketball to talk about. And so we're gonna shoot through things and breeze right through them. So let's get to it. All right, first things first. We talked about this last week. James Winston names Saints starter. I said that the Saints would probably name him the starter because I felt like he was the best solution to their offensive problems right now with not having a quarterback. Nothing against Taysom Hill, but I just felt like Jameis was the better of the two quarterbacks. And we will see. How good Sean Payton really is because, Jameis 2 years ago was 30 for 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. And we can see if he's able to limit those turnovers from Jameis, those interceptions from Jameis. And if those are limited, then I think that the Saints will be a force to be reckoned with because they the offense is high powered. I think Drew Brees held them back a little bit last year because he couldn't really get the ball up the field like he used to. We'll see what's going to happen with Jameis. I think they're a better team with Jameis being the starter and then still using Taysom Hill in the position that they were using him in whenever they had Drew Brees. Bring them in for, some run plays, trick plays, all that good stuff. So I think that initially will work out better for them whenever it's all said and done. And I think Jameis is the more traditional, true quarterback that they need. And he has the arm strength. He has the football capabilities and, to be a good quarterback in this Saints offense. It's not like it's pass because you got Alvin Kamara, back there at running back. So I think this right here is a good decision by Sean Payton to name Jameis Winston the starter and just use Taysom Hill as he's been using them. And this is, in my opinion, this is Jameis's audition for the rest of his career in the NFL because if this right here doesn't pan out, then I think that he would probably end up going to a backup role. I think him sitting back for a year or two, just sitting back watching and learning. I think that sometimes we have to take a step back and we can see things for what they really are. Whenever you put in those positions where he had to sit back and watch, and then you saw a little flashes of it whenever he played. In some series last year, you saw the arm strength, you saw him be able to make the right decisions in those particular. But we got to see him make those decisions, entire games and not just for a play here and a play there. Taysom Hill will be, I think he'll still be a good offensive threat for the Saints, simply because they will use him as a decoy a lot of times, and so I think that works out better for them. I'm happy for Jameis. It's been a rocky NFL career for him. Hopefully, this one right here helps him get back on his feet and and be the good quarterback that he was coming out of Florida State, winning the national championship for Florida State. So and he's proven that when he has good play callers and coaches that understand his strengths and his capabilities, that he's been proven to be a real good quarterback. We're going to see this. I'm putting it all on Sean Payton now because now Sean Payton doesn't have the Drew Brees, and he has a quarterback that he's working with really for the first time because he's worked with Drew Brees for so long. Yeah, TC, I was thinking that too. Yeah, he can see now. Like he done had laser surgery and all that good stuff. Yeah, he can see real well. So and I hope it works out for Jameis, but they're in the NFC, so I don't want them to do too well, but I want him to have a good season, and and keep that start. Or even if they do have a real good season, it makes everything more competitive. New Orleans, playing in that dome, and having that high powered offense. If Jameis can fuel that offense, they will be a different animal with Kamara and those wideouts they have out there, Michael Thomas and those guys that's out there in at those receiver spots. So it was like I said, I figured that Sean Payton would make the right decision and put Jameis as a starter, and he's been named the starter for the Saints. Um, what Jamal said, do they have a public in New Orleans? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure they have a Publix. I knew what you meant. I'm not sure if they have a Publix or not, but I'm not sure, Jamal, if they have one. But I figured Sean Payton would make the right decision. He made a good football decision, in my opinion. We're gonna see if Jameis does right and turn out to be the starter that he deserves to be, and the starter that he is, because it's been clearly a competition. He won the competition, so shout out to Jameis Winston for that. All right, so the next thing we're going to stay in football, and we're going to talk about these two teams right here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hold this real quick. We're gonna keep this, and we're gonna not stroll it, and we're just gonna show it. Team to beat: the Bucks or the Chiefs. Everybody is basically saying, what's your mom say? This stuff. Yeah. Everybody's saying that which is the team to beat. Is it the Bucks or the Chiefs? And a lot of people do not understand this, that don't understand that in football, it is very hard to repeat. I don't care. If that was the case, then we will have a whole lot repeat champions more often. In football, it's hard to repeat, and everybody's saying that the team to beat would be the Bucks, because now they have an off season. They're able to get together, gel together a little bit better, and all that good stuff. And then some people saying it's the Chiefs, because the Chiefs made some necessary changes that they needed to make to protect Patrick Mahomes and to make their team a lot better. Me personally, if I had to choose between these two, I would say it would probably be the Chiefs, be the team to beat, because I think that the NFC is a little bit tougher than the AFC. And that's just my personal opinion, because, let's say, for instance, New Orleans is good. Then you got the Cardinals, you got Green Bay Packers. Some people saying the Cowboys are going to be good if Dak Prescott is playing well. So we don't know if the Bucks could get past some of these teams. They did it last year, but it's just so much harder to repeat, because and they were lucky they didn't have a lot of injuries, especially down the stretch. They were fully healthy, and the Chiefs weren't. Neil, what did Neil say? Neil say no. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. And then Travis, like the whole NFC West is just tough whenever it comes to the NFC West is just their entire, let's just name them, the NFC West. I'm gonna pull them up real quick, so I'll just make sure I'm not saying anything wrong. And you got San Francisco, Arizona, Seattle, and the Rams. And the Rams, they're saying that the Rams, if they got their quarterback now, so we're gonna see. And then Seattle, Seattle always makes some noise here lately. And then Arizona's real good. And if San Francisco can keep Jimmy G healthy and all that good stuff, then they might be a force to reckon with. And I just see that it being a little bit harder for the Bucks to just breeze through the NFC. I just see it a little bit harder. And could they do it? Yes, but a lot of things has to work out perfectly for them. Where the Chiefs, I mean, you have a lot of what ifs in the AFC when it's all said and done. You got a bunch of what ifs. Like they talking about what if Miami. I mean, you got Buffalo. We don't know how good New England's going to be. I mean, they showed signs of it in the preseason, so we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen with Cleveland and Baker Mayfield. You got Baltimore, but Lamar Jackson, he struggled in the playoffs. They've been a different team in the playoffs. A lot of people high on Pittsburgh, but I'm just not sold on Big Ben. I just know that that when it's all said and done, Big Ben, I don't think that he makes the right decision. He does things the wrong way. And Natel, you say Tennessee, and I can say Tennessee too. And it could be a toss up between any of them. But Tennessee is. I've been looking at Tennessee, and this is how I'm looking at Tennessee. You know how teams have they turn out to be pretty good, coach turn out to be pretty good, and then their window of opportunity close pretty quickly. And I think that's what's about to happen with Tennessee, because I think they've had these last couple of years where they should have had a chance and could have had a chance to be, Super Bowl contenders, and they fell short whenever it was all said and done. But you are right. Tennessee is one of those teams that, we could take a look at. But if I had to choose one of the two, I think the Chiefs are the team to beat. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from the Bucks winning the Super Bowl last year, but we all know what happened. When you don't have your offensive line, all that good stuff, and you're running for your life, it's just tough. So, and that's what happened. But injuries are part of the game, so it's supposed to be the next man up. Oh man, please don't do this, Brian. You said Cleveland going to have a hell of a year if they run the offense through the running game. The defense should be solid. Okay, I agree with you with their running game, but at some point in time, that quarterback has to throw the football. And when he get in games that he has to throw the football, is he going to make the right decisions? Is he going to be the good, solid quarterback that he's supposed to be? No, I don't think that he will. Everybody's so high on Cleveland, and I just feel like Cleveland, the Browns are going to show you who the Browns are at the end of the day. That's just what I believe. I haven't been a fan of Baker Mayfield. Yeah, Travis, say it again. It was still, we all be drunk. Yeah, for real. And Brian, you said if they do that, if, and we already know what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, I think that their season rests and lies on the guy up on the center whenever it comes to them. What this guy say? Brian said, I think he'll be able to manage the game, but not take over. Okay, so if you think that he's going to manage the game, managing the game is whenever you got third and long and you got to be able to make the right decisions whenever that running game is not running right. I just don't feel like he's the right game manager. He might do it, a game here and a game there, but I don't think he can do it for a complete season. And Jay Cook said the Bucks as long as Brady is playing. Well, the difference is that here's the difference. A lot of people, giving the Bucks a lot of credit for a lot of things, and if Tom Brady can play, and if he's playing, and this, that, and the third. But the Bucks are one hit away from not being a Super Bowl contender, because you said if Brady playing. If somebody like Brady at one good time, who they back up? And I'm gonna leave it at that, Jamal. Who they back up? And so, but me personally, I mean, I think both of them gonna have a tough road. And truth be told, a lot of people are putting these two in the Super Bowl again, and that we already know that it's hard to repeat in the NFL. Neither one of these teams might not make the Super Bowl if these other teams pan out. And like Trav said, if was a stiff, we all be drunk. So it's yet to be seen. It's a lot of football. You got 17 games this year instead of 16. So we'll see how much wear and tear is on the body, who stays healthy, and go from there. And so we'll revisit this probably week 7 or week 8, and we'll see where we at from there. And Brian, you sitting here talking about the Browns. If Baker comes out and does what you say that you think that he's going to do, I'll come on here and say I stand correct that you were right. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. All right, so we're going to move on. And we're going to talk about somebody in the AFC in the Dolphins, because, a lot of people are trying to say the Dolphins could be a Super Bowl contender and all that good stuff. And before I get on the Dolphins, you say you like the Browns too? We'll talk about the Browns later, Jay Cook. We'll talk about them in a couple weeks. And so, but we're going to talk about Tua. It's a lot of people saying that the Dolphins are a team. Hold on, but before I get, Jamal, like, are you okay? I'm not even gonna entertain that conversation. And Sabrina said, "Go Miami." Okay, so I don't feel like I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Everybody's saying the Dolphins could be one of those teams that could make some noise in the AFC. And they possibly could. Right now, they're 2-1 in the preseason. And I think the biggest issue with them is Tua. I don't think he's an NFL caliber quarterback. A lot of people made a big deal out of him because he was playing in Alabama and what he did for Alabama and all that good stuff. But he kind of reminds me of a Tim Tebow, somebody who was a great college quarterback, but just wasn't right for the NFL. He's just a left-handed Tim Tebow, in my personal opinion. Yeah, Brian, you said they can build off last year, but the problem is who you remember didn't they have Fitzpatrick as a backup and he was playing well or something like that? The question is Tua the quarterback for the Dolphins? And I don't think that he is. I think that they have to make a move and get rid of Tua, because I don't think that he's the quarterback that everybody made him out to be from his Alabama days, and that's just me. And at the end of the day, to me, when I see him, I think that he doesn't find the right people. What Trav say? I'm not a Tua fan, but that was kind of disrespectful. No, I mean, I don't think I'm not disrespecting him, but I think that he's a left-handed version of Tim Tebow, somebody who was great in college because the system that they ran. They had so many offensive weapons. They had all of that good stuff. And I just don't think that he's the type of guy that can win in the NFL and you can put the team on his back and expect to go to the next level. And a lot of people, want to give him that. But whenever you have question marks like that, if that's a question mark, then that should tell you a whole lot. Like, if you're going into this season already, you hadn't played one regular season game and you already asking the question, is Tua the answer? Like if Tua was the quarterback that, that they expected and they wanted him to be, it wouldn't be no questions asked if they brought up trading. No, Tua's our quarterback. It wouldn't be, I'm confident in what Tua's going to. No, it would be Tua's our quarterback. And they've proven that they already looking elsewhere. And me personally, I think he was good at Alabama. Alabama hid his deficiencies. And now in the NFL, when everybody's just as fast and just as good, those deficiencies are really showing. And I just think he's another version of Tim Tebow. I mean, yes, a left-handed version of Tim Tebow. That's just me. And the way I looked, I saw it at Alabama. And, like, you know, it was kind of one of those things like, you know, kind of what Jalen Hurts went into in Philly when Carson Wentz was playing bad. Anything that came in that just lit a little spark or something like that, it just made him look better because the offense wasn't rolling when he was with Alabama. So you know, when he went out, when he took and replaced Jalen Hurts, then you know it lit a spark up on him, and that's not happening in Miami. And if Miami doesn't make a change, which they probably won't because that's just the Miami, you know, Dolphins organization. They just make bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. They will probably keep Tua and just keep getting him a chance and keep getting him a chance and keep getting him a chance. And it's I don't think that it's going to be good for him. I think Tua is at best a backup. You know, nobody, you don't have no pressure. You come into games if you know you need to, and if the game is won, then you come in, you run some possessions just to make sure your quarterback don't get hurt. It's as simple as that. So, Tua is not the quarterback for the Dolphins, and if the Dolphins want to make some noise, they gotta make a trade. They really do. They're gonna have to make a trade, and I think they're gonna have to make a trade quick. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna do our quick talks, and quick talks just something I talk about. I don't talk about it very long. I kind of brush through them, and we go from there. Some stuff that I seen what happened in the sports world and all that good stuff. Jamal, I appreciate you checking it out, man. I really do. Whenever I saw you on, it put a smile on my face. I really appreciate you checking it out. All right, so we're gonna go to these quick talks, and the first thing we're gonna talk about. Rondo back with the Lakers. I think this is a good move for the Lakers and a good move for Rondo because, you know, Rondo is one of those type of guys. The only bad thing about this is it just makes the Lakers older because Rondo is not a young guard. But the only good thing about this is Rondo is one of those guys who has a strong voice, and he could help save LeBron, legs a whole lot because LeBron likes to handle the basketball a whole lot. And Rondo's type of guy where he'll tell LeBron, get your big behind down there. I'll bring the ball up. And, he knows how to save LeBron legs and all that good stuff. And yeah, Jamal, I agree with you. Both benefit from the move. They both benefit. And so, but I just think that the Lakers got older, but I think it's a good move because at the end of the day, it could add some it could take away some mileage from LeBron because he's not trying to do so much. And my only issue with this is you picked up Rondo, but you still lacking a whole lot of shooting. And I don't think that, at the end of the day, it's two different styles with him and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is, fast paced. Let's push the ball down. Rondo can, but he is better with slowing the game down, getting people in their spots. So it's a change of pace, and I think it will help the Lakers out. I think that if it's played right, then it can help LeBron down the stretch where he's not as tired because he keeps saying he doesn't get tired, but Father Time is undefeated, and we all know that whenever you get older. Hey, Trav, I'm gonna tell you something. And I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to piss any too many Lakers. I think it's going to end in a disaster too. A lot of people are making a big deal about it and putting the Lakers in the finals, but I think it's going to turn to a disaster also. But that's neither here nor there. Rondo with the Lakers, he signed a 1-year deal, and I think it's worth like $2.6 million. So it saved them some money. He's back playing with the Lakers, with the team that he won championship with a few years ago. All right, and next one is we were just talking about the Dolphins, and Brian Flores, he brushed it off the Watson talk. Like, he basically said that hold on. You said you predict these two will fight? They probably will, man. They probably will. But Brian Flores, he brushes off the Watson talk. He basically said he's confident in Tua, and he's only worried about the players that's on the roster right now. He's not looking at anybody else. And so he wanted guys, he wanted high character guys, which that was kind of taking a shot at Deshaun Watson because what's going on. But at the end of the day, Brian Flores know damn well if they make a trade to get Deshaun Watson, he gonna take it because it's gonna make them a hell of a team, and that's gonna put them in contention. If they can build off what they had last year, he knows it. Everybody else knows it. If Deshaun Watson is not in the mess that he's in, they make that trade, they get rid of Tua, and they're a totally different football team. So he can brush it off for now, which I think he's doing what's right and what's politically correct. He's doing that. But at the end of the day, if you can get Deshaun Watson, I guarantee your days and going into the film room and going to work will be a whole lot, less stressful, knowing that you got a proven quarterback versus somebody who you might have to bench come week 2 or 3. You already think about benching him after his first snap or whatever. So you can say what you want to say. And I agree with you on that, Jamal. If the owners make the call, the coaches have no say at all. But I think they just trying to play the Deshaun Watson thing out, seeing what's going to happen. If you notice, it gets quieter and quieter. And I said this some months ago that I felt like it was just going to brush over after a while because I felt like this was, a job done by the Houston owner to try to slam the man's name. So, we'll see what happened there. But Flores can brush it off right now. But at the end of the day, if he can get Deshaun Watson, he going to take it for real. All right. And poor Carson Wentz, man, the guy's just having a rough, preseason or whatever. He gets hurt. Now he's on the COVID list. Hopefully he doesn't have COVID. Maybe he just came in contact with someone, and they just going by protocol. But it keeps, in my opinion, setting them back more and more because you can't be around the team. You had already missed some time. Now you're about to miss some more time with the COVID protocol. And it's just unfortunate something just keep happening with this young man and keep happening. I hope that, he doesn't have COVID. I hope he comes back stronger. The good thing is he has a good coach in Frank Reich. And honestly, me personally, I think this might be good for him because, I didn't want him to come back too soon with that ankle surgery or whatever, foot surgery, whatever he had. And Brian, you said, what's his physical update? He's back practicing. He's doing 7-on-7. He's been doing everything with the first team and all that good stuff. So my thing is we'll see. I think physically he's back with, he's back practicing. His foot is all right. I don't think it was nothing major with the surgery that he had because he did come back pretty soon. And Reg, you said Tampa Bay 2022 champions. We'll see. It's a lot of football that needs to be played before you go count your chickens before they hatch, man. All right. So Wentz, we hope that whatever's going on with COVID, he's on the COVID list. And even if he doesn't have COVID, whoever he's around, if he's around some people that everything works out for him, he's able to get back on the football field. All right, and the next one is Kevin Love. Kevin Love not interested in the Cavs buyout, and I call that bullcrap because you can say what you want to say, Kevin Love. You in Cleveland, you ain't winning. You won a championship with Cleveland, and then now you sitting there bottom of the cellar. Your game's not on TV. You're irrelevant, and you're saying you're not interested in a buyout. That's some crap. You would take that buyout any day of the week so you can go somewhere and play and play on a championship contender team. Jay Cook said something to Reggie real quick. He said, "Cuz, what are you doing up here in the family for real in those sports?" Yeah. And then he wants his full salary. Jamal, the thing about it is if you get a buyout, more times than none, you still get your full salary. It's just they will buy it out and they will pay you over a longer period of time. If you ever see like guys that, still getting paid by teams, I think Kevin Garnett is still getting paid by Boston. We can use like the Bobby Bonilla thing where he's still getting paid by what's name. You can get a certain amount of that salary per year. I don't think that the buyout was something crazy. Yeah, that's why I said Bobby Bonilla. Like whenever Bobby Bonilla, he's getting paid. And there's a lot of guys in the NBA right now that's still getting paid. Kevin Garnett still getting paid. I was looking at the article the other day. I can't remember. I can't remember some of the other names, but it's guys that still getting paid until like 2022. Um, yeah, he probably do. He probably still get $1 million, but like that's how it is. And some of these guys are still getting paid by organizations that they played for. So when that buyout happens, he can still get that, and then he can go sign like a veteran minimum, so you can double dip. And that's what a lot of these players like to do. They like to, if you can get a buyout, you go somewhere else and you double dip. So that team's still paying you, you still getting paid for that. So he can say that he doesn't want to buy out. And that's some bull crap. They can buy me out any day of the week so I can get out of that hellhole in Cleveland, because who wants to play for a team that's not contending? And if he wants to play for a team that's not contending, that says a lot about him. That says a lot about his fortitude, because I couldn't just go every game and knowing that I'm going to get my ass whipped and all that good stuff. All right. Last quick talk is the NBA Players Union to help renovate Rutgers Court. And I think it's a great deal, because there's a lot of NBA players that, go to, Rutgers Court and all that good stuff. And I think it's a great testament to them, for the Players Union, to be able to do that and help, because that's a place that, is near and dear to a whole lot of people. So that shout out to the Players Union to help renovate that. And, we'll see what it look like. Hopefully they keep it the same. They just renovated to make sure that it's safe to play on, and it looks good, and it keeps the same feel and stuff that it has. And so those are my quick talks for the day, and we're gonna keep moving along, because we're gonna stay in the NBA, and we're gonna talk about this. James Harden says scary for the rest of the league if the Nets are healthy. I said it last year, and the first problem with the Nets was KD was just coming off that Achilles injury. Kyrie was somewhere another else mentally. And let's just keep it real. James, good friend of mine, James was out of shape. James was fat. Just imagine James in shape, get slimmed down. KD done had a year up under his belt, feeling good coming off that Achilles injury. And Kyrie, he twisted his ankle and all that good stuff, and he comes back. And their team is completely healthy. People don't realize they went through a whole lot. KD sitting out, James sitting out, Kyrie sitting out. They lost LaMarcus Aldridge, who had the heart problem, whatever. And, they had a whole lot of injuries and stuff that happened with them. Nah, Reg, I can't agree with you on this, because we don't know what Klay Thompson we're going to get, because the guy just came off of 2 catastrophic injuries. So I can't say that right yet, even though Klay Thompson is not one of those guys who depends on athleticism and all that good stuff. We just don't know, because a lot of times when you come off injuries like that, it takes you, 8 months to a year just to get your mental right. Just to get your mental right, to see if that's what's going to happen. And so, but if the Nets are healthy, that's scary for everybody. Like, you got 3 guys who can give you 30 easily. And with all that being said, and KD shown to me like he was the best player in the league, and he wasn't even at 100%. Now, imagine this guy, he done played his season. He done went over to Tokyo and won a gold medal, and then played. And now he has an off season. He knows that he can be the KD of old, and James go and get back in shape, because we all know that he got fat on purpose. He went to Houston and sabotaged the season. And what Travis said? Travis said Kyrie has only finished second season without being. Yeah, but here's my thing, Trav. If the bench is healthy, and KD and James are healthy, and they finish the season, that's scary within itself because people don't give James Harden enough credit. James Harden averaged about 35, 36 some years ago, and he did a whole lot in Houston. But he has proven that he's very unselfish and he'll do whatever it takes to win. And at the end of the day, KD doesn't need the ball a lot to score 30 points. The guy can take 16 shots and give you 30. And he can play without the ball. James handling the ball. My only issue with them is health and defense. And they prove whenever healthy that when needed, they will play defense. Yeah, and so Brandon, you said you about to jump on the Nets bandwagon. Won't be good for your household. Tired of this Laker talk. I agree with you. It's time. You jump on that bandwagon. Yeah. And Reggie, James Harden is very underrated. A lot of people don't give him a lot of credit, for what he does. Like the guy give you triple doubles, and he doesn't take a whole lot of shots. He keeps everybody involved. And he's moved to that point guard position. And Brian, you're right. They never got the opportunity to build that chemistry. Off season will help them build that chemistry. Trav, and that's what I'm saying. With Harden and KD and the rest of the guys, they walk right into the finals. It will be easy. It will be so easy because James and KD know how to play with each other. But then if Kyrie's healthy and he learns that, okay, KD's the guy, I can be the second guy because James don't mind being the third guy because he handles the ball and he can dictate what he wants when he wants it. And then you get the Joe Harris's and, if they get Jeff Green back and those guys just to play well and Blake Griffin just to be, a force inside and they get up and down the floor, these guys are going to be scary. They're going to be really scary. And James is not lying. A lot of people might give him a hard time by saying that, but the truth is the truth. And, Brian, you said it. James break down the defense when he had the ball in hand. He does. He picks up fouls. He makes teams have to play because not only does he shoot threes, he gets to the basket. He penetrates and pitches. That just opens the floor for everything else. And Reggie, you said, the Nets versus Lakers would be bananas for the NBA. Yes, it would. It really would be. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So we're going to talk about that later on, but I'm not sure. But right now, if you look at the Nets and you get these guys healthy, that is scary for the NBA. Because one, they don't play defense. When I say they, I'm talking about the NBA. You don't really play any defense. And just imagine this right here. KD almost got it done by himself against Milwaukee. James hurt. Kyrie out hurt. You just a toenail away from taking your team past the Milwaukee Bucks. People do not realize, how good this Nets team could be. Do I think Steve Nash should focus a little bit more on defense? Yes, I do. Yeah, I think that, he does. And Neil, I understand you're a Bucks fan, you from that area, but let's call an ace and spade a spade. If those guys were completely healthy, we already saw what was going to happen to you guys. If the Nets are healthy, they will have, Reggie, I'm not going to take it that far. I'm not going to take it that far simply because this load management stuff they're doing is for real. So sometimes these guys won't play, some back-to-backs. So 70 wins, I don't think will happen. 63, 64, yeah, I can look at something like that. But I don't think they will get 70 simply because of load management. And Brian, you said no one is running the floor with them, not the Lakers anyway. No, because you had if them and the Lakers had to play, we would really see how Father Time would would hurt LeBron. Like, because he would try, but he wouldn't be able to. And like a lot of people don't want to admit this right here. Everybody didn't notice that Anthony Davis was hurt last year. And why? Because he gave them false hope and false dreams the year before because they were in the bubble and he didn't have to travel. And the most traveling you did was from Wide World of Disney to your resort, which was 2 minutes away on a bus. You didn't have to fly from LA to Brooklyn, Brooklyn to Chicago, Chicago to Milwaukee, back to LA. You didn't have to do any of that stuff during the bubble season. And Anthony Davis, is not one of those guys. His body's just breaks down on him. I don't know what it is. I don't see him making it the full season, and I don't think he'll be reliable down the stretch. And we seen Father Time against Phoenix talking about it. Yeah, Father Time did. Chris Paul, like, he ran out of gas. They had some young guys, but at the end of the day, what we got to look at is, can anybody? This is my thing right here. Where all people don't answer this question right here. With the Nets, James is serious whenever he say this, and I agree with him. If the Nets are completely healthy, who's in a 7-game series is going to hold these guys under 125 points a game? Who going to do it? Name one team, or the team that if they don't hold them under 120, 125 points, going to score more than they score. If you name one team that will do it. It's not one. It's not one. Like, at the end of the day, James Harden is right. It's scary for the rest of the league if they are healthy. Because me personally, I've been saying it for some years now, KD the best player in the NBA. It's that simple. When you got the best player, a lot of people try to shun him because, he went and played with Golden State and all that good stuff, but everybody don't know why he went to Golden State played. It's time for us to let it go. We done forgave LeBron for teaming up with D Wade and Chris Bosh, and a lot of people say, "Oh well, Miami wasn't a powerhouse like Golden State." No, they weren't. But let's not try to make it look like they were trying to be a powerhouse whenever LeBron went there. No, they had already done started sabotaging 2 years before because they wanted to get LeBron. So we forgave him for taking his talents to South Beach. So it's time for us to let KD be KD. KD went, and this is the thing. I look at it, and he went to the Golden State team. And this is something I'm going to talk about next time, but I'm going to leave this little bug in y'all ear right here. Everybody try to make a big deal about KD going to Golden State. And this is how I feel about it. At the end of the day, everybody try to say Golden State with this juggernaut. But this is what I'm trying to figure out. Before KD went there, how many championships did Golden State win? They won one. Then they come back the next year and they went 70. Where'd they go? 73-9? 73-9. And they lost in the finals. And I would tell people this right here. In the NBA now, if you put your mind to any team, if a good team, if the Nets were not to load management and KD, James, and everybody played, 75, 82 games, they could win 70 games easy. simply because every night you're playing against different competition. The question was, and I asked this question whenever they got to the playoffs, you had to play against somebody who just scouted you. And as you can see, when they won the 73 games, they were down 3-1 to OKC. And then they gave up a 3-1 lead to the Cavs. That's because they were a good team that a lot of people thought were great simply because they had won all those games. And what did Reggie say? He said, I personally feel Golden State will have won at least one more championship without KD. And I disagree with you on that, Reggie, because it was already proven like they had just lost to LeBron get on a 3-1 lead. If I'm going to tell you something, if they don't pick up KD, psychologically, that would have screwed them up. And other teams would not have feared them simply because they knew that, they were up 3-1. And LeBron, whose team was, quote unquote, not as good, came back and beat them 3-1. And then, if KD doesn't go there, let's say first he stays in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City knew that they could beat Golden State. They had a chance to beat them. And me personally, I don't think but when KD did go there, that's when they really became a juggernaut. Nobody was beating them with KD. And you can say it how you want to say it. No. LeBron lost in the finals, come back to win. No. I ain't talking about losing in the finals. I'm talking about the way they lost in the finals. It's a difference between losing in the finals and the way you lost in the finals. They lost. They were up 3-1. All they had to do was win one game to close the deal. When LeBron lost, he lost. It wasn't one of those things where, I'm up and, team come back and beat me like that. No. It was the way they lost. That would have screwed them up psychologically. That's why they knew it. Steve Kerr them knew it. We got to go and get somebody who can close the game for us. And when KD was in Golden State, yeah, you had Steph, you had Clay, but who was the best player on the team? Period. KD. So, it's time for us to put all this stuff aside about KD and all this good stuff and just recognize greatness, regardless of what he did. Everybody know he went to Golden State and he played with, that team or whatever. But if you hear his interviews, and I had already talked to him, that's how he wanted to play. He wanted to play finally with somebody who could shoot the ball like him and not just athletic people. And you said Draymond hurt in that series. He was out game 4. Then Cleveland gained the momentum in the series. Yeah, I mean that happens. That happens, but yet still, you're up 3-1. That was just one game that Draymond was out. You're up 3-1. End of story. That's what it is. So, those are excuses to me, and I don't believe in excuses. So, and basically that's it for today. But my final word, I got a final word, and my final word is going to be, I made a mistake. It's going to be prayers. And I'm saying this, you pray for, everybody who was in the eye of that storm in Louisiana and Mississippi. A lot of people don't realize this right here. They put a lot of money into those levees in Louisiana, and hopefully that those levees, they're being tested right now. A lot of people don't realize this is that whenever Hurricane Katrina came, the levees didn't break until after Hurricane Katrina was gone. So let's keep our thoughts and prayers with the people in the eye of the storm, that, they get, back to living right. They get some electricity, people's homes are repaired. So, let's just continue to, lift them up in prayer. If it's something that you can do to help out, do it. Like, a lot of times people don't realize just being a good human being takes you a long ways. And so whenever our brothers and sisters, and a lot of us say that we're Christian and we believe in God and we do all this type of stuff, but we don't want to give back and help out our brother, man. And because you never know when you're in that situation. That's a natural disaster. Natural disaster can go from anywhere. So just keep all those people lifted in prayer. And if anybody got any family there, let's just keep them in prayer. Keep you in prayer, because this is hurricanes and water and levees breaking is nothing to to play with. So just let's be there for one another. And like, it's a lot of people that's doing a lot of stuff that you've been able to donate, send water, do something. Might not be as bad as last time, but we quick to want to help out other countries and help out stuff that we don't that really doesn't matter a lot of times, but this right here really matters. Like, people being displaced from homes and all that stuff. And so if you can help out, if not, just prayers for them is the most important thing, and hopefully everything will work itself out. And so that's my final word for the day. And I just want to say this right here for new people who checked out, anybody who came on, check me out. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure interacting with a lot of you. It makes the time go by quicker. I have a great time talking to all of you. I really appreciate you checking it out. It's just something I do for, a hobby. I love sports. I'm from a little small town called Rayford. That's all we used to do, play baseball, football, and basketball. So, I grew up around sports. That's all we did. So, for me to talk sports, that's a great deal. Reggie, it's your first time. I really appreciate it. I'm on every Monday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. So yeah, Neil, I forgot about that too. The troops in Afghanistan, I pray for them too. Hopefully they can come home. No injuries, no life threatening anything, because we living in troubled times now. But yes, Neil, I'm glad you brought that up too. Appreciate that. And Jamal, I appreciate you checking it out, man. Hadn't seen you on here. Anybody else, Aunt Janet, you always on, Sabrina and TC, all my friends, stuff that I always get on. I appreciate you guys. But, I'm on here every Monday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Wait a minute, Neil says something about my son has to go back and clean up this mess. Hey, we praying for your son, Neil. Tell him to be safe and, keep us posted on him. I know you post stuff on social media, so I know that he's going to come back, fine. And, but we'll keep him in prayer, Neil. Appreciate you checking out the show. And so, like I said, I'm here at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern every Monday, and I just talk sports. That's all I do. And so anybody who checked out, again, I appreciate it. And in the coming weeks, I have some good things that's going to happen. Some guests. I try to keep it, to a minimum for myself, because it shows me. But like sometimes I might bring special guests on. Like I have my good friend, my brother from Belmont Abbey College, Byron Johnson, on. I had my first cousin, good friend, basketball teammate Terrell McIntyre on a few months ago. So, and I got a couple other people that's going to be coming on. So, y'all stay on the lookout. Check me out next Monday. I appreciate y'all checking out tonight. Y'all have a good rest of y'all week. And remember this right here. Whatever happens to you in that short period of time, if something bad happens, don't let it affect your entire day or your entire week. It's just one little situation. Everything else can go smooth after that. So don't let one thing affect your entire day. Y'all have a good night.